In this video we're gonna try to beat the final boss with the defect, and we managed to pull off a pretty OP build and had many close calls, so you will wanna stick to the end to see if we can slay the Spire. At the start I picked the first 3 fights to be free so we can get some items without any trouble. After picking up Boot Sequence, Beam Cell and 2 Capacitor cards, we were up against a special elite enemy. This enemy is sleeping for the first 3 turns, so I decided to set up my orbs and capacitors before waking him up. And after taking more damage than comfortable, we managed to kill him and get our first key piece and an essential relic for our run. The Phantograph heals us before a boss, which lets us make more risky plays to get relics and gives us more room to breathe. Then we picked up Coolhead and upgraded a Zap to make it cost nothing to play, and we started the second elite fight of the run. The 3 sentries aren't too difficult, but because of a few misplays on my part, I needed to use an explosive potion to survive with just 9 health. After this close call we got the Glacier card and the Toxic Egg, which solved our defense problems and made all our future skill cards be already upgraded. Then I picked up the second key piece instead of a mid relic and managed to get a free upgrade for Coolhead. However, now starts the second most stressful part of this entire run. I needed to beat not only 3 enemies, but also an elite with only 9 HP remaining. In the first encounter, I took 3 damage and went to 6 health. This was not a good sign, since it's the first encounter and we still have 2 more in a mini-boss. I was sure the run was dead. However, I somehow managed to not get hit in the second fight and only took 1 damage in the third fight. With this, I had renewed hope for the elite fight. Maybe we actually stood a chance, maybe I could barely survive. But this hope was instantly dashed as soon as I saw who we were fighting. It was the Gremlin Knob, whose special ability was increasing his damage the more we defend. Meaning, unless we get a perfect hand every turn, taking damage was inevitable. The run was as good as dead. But it was such a good run, I couldn't just let it end like this. I had to try, no matter the odds. I used the Cultist Potion and started my desperate final struggle. Using everything I had just to try to survive. But it was over. He was so close to dying, yet there was nothing I could do, as he was about to deal the perfect amount of damage to kill me. Even my Frost Orbs weren't enough to save me. A single HP would have been the difference between life and death, but I just didn't have enough. Was there anything I could try? Well, there was one last thing. I threw my last potion to weaken the beast and just barely survived with 2 health. But that was enough. His health was so low that I could claw him to death. After surviving by the skin of my teeth, I took a well-deserved rest and started the boss fight for the first floor. The fight was much easier and less stressful than the previous one, even though it was also pretty close. Thankfully, you fully heal after moving up a floor, so I didn't have to worry too much. After picking up Creative AI and the Busted Crown, I was finally at the second floor. Now that I had much more breathing room with full health, the fights were a breeze. After picking up another Coolhead Plus and Genetic Algorithm, Ball Lightning along with the boots from the shop, things were finally looking up for us. I got lucky enough to find a coffin with a relic, and managed to avoid getting a curse that came along with it. Then we got a great random event that let us upgrade all our strike and defend cards, which doesn't sound that great, but is actually really helpful. Then, once again, disaster struck in the elite fight with the Book of Stabbing. I managed to defeat it, but not without taking huge damage, and went from 63 health to only 22. Though the loot we got from it was worth it. We got the Consume card, which will be a big help throughout the run, and the lizard tail that will tremendously help us later on, so be sure to keep watching. Thankfully, I managed to heal up thanks to a rest site and shop by picking up the waffle, which fully heals me and increases my max HP by a little bit. After that, a shady gremlin wanted to play cards with me, so I obviously agreed. Unfortunately, I picked up a curse along another zap card. The curse was actually one of the better ones, since it disappears for the rest of combat after showing up just once. Then I picked up a whetstone and fought another elite. This fight was smooth sailing and I easily beat this monster and picked up a new relic, along with a stack card. After a simple final enemy and smoothing break, it was the time to fight the boss of the second floor. At first, I took some damage, but then I got lucky and got electrodynamics from my creative AI, which turned this boss into an absolute pushover. Being able to stomp on the collector, who's ended so many of my previous runs, was really satisfying and shows how far we came from that close call on the first floor. The reward I picked for this fight was the Philosopher's Stone, and it was time to start the third floor. I made short work of the Darklings, after which I took a runic capacitor from the shop and removed my curse. Then I continued destroying these easy foes. Even the tough writhing mass posed no threat to me. The jaw worms aren't even worth mentioning. After these battles, I stopped for a quick rest and finally arrived at the elite fight. It was the enemy I hated the most, the accursed Reptomancer. I hate this one elite enemy the most out of all the other ones, because not only does she summon swords that deal huge damage, she also deals huge damage herself. I contemplated just running away with a smoke bomb, but I needed to crush this eternal enemy of mine. So I decided to keep fighting, even if it kills me. Thankfully, the fight got much easier after I set up my orbs, and I managed to survive with only minor injuries, which was a worth trade for getting the preserved insect that makes all elites start with less health. After that, I picked up a blizzard from the shop, since we use a lot of frost orbs. Then we got a huge relic from a chest. The bird-faced urn allows us to heal every time we play a power card, and our build uses a lot of those. So we have a ton more breathing room with this consistent regeneration method. Then I messed up a bit in a regular fight, so I had to rest, and after waking up I met a strange man. He offered to trade something for a relic, and I gave him my auto shield card, since due to my frost orbs and loop it's rarely usable. A few simple fights later, it was time for the last floor's boss. At this point in the run we were so powerful that they stood no chance and couldn't even scratch us. I feel sorry for the donut dude, he's so cute. I like Donut Man. Oh. Bye Donut Man. Anyways, after killing them we took a shot at the heart, and it was time to open the secret door and go to the true final boss, the very spire we were in. After visiting the last rest site and last shop, it was time to fight the guardians of the spire's heart. Thanks to the preserved insect, they have much less health and it makes the fight a whole lot easier. I decided to focus on taking out this shield as soon as possible, since it would protect itself and the spear. Additionally, it would also take my attention away from the spear and let it stab me in the back, which causes way more damage. Thankfully, I got super lucky with my cards and managed to kill it during the 4th turn, leaving the spear alone. Without its shield, it was easy to take out, and we picked up all for 1 as our last card of the run. It was finally time. The heart of the spire itself was right in front of us, waiting to strike. We're in for a heck of a fight. I focused on setting up my orbs first, neglecting defense. It was a risky strategy, but because of the heart's beat of death and devastating attacks, I needed to end the fight quickly. The heart prepared a massive attack that I wasn't able to fully block, and things weren't looking good. It was big attack after attack, and I was slowly bleeding health. As a last-ditch effort, I played all for 1 and got tons of zero-cost cards, but it still wasn't even close. It still had over half of its health, and I was about to take another large hit. I desperately used every card I had, but still had no way of blocking that damage. I was going to die. At the very end. I was so close, just a bit more. Just 1 or 2 turns and I would have won. But the spire is cruel and unforgiving. There was nothing I could do. I could only accept the damage. However, fate wasn't just going to let me die. The lizard tail resurrected me and I had one last chance to win. I couldn't afford to mess up. Not right now. Not at the very end of our journey. Another devastating beatdown brought me down to 8 health, but the heart was also low. It was the final turn. Me or it. One of us was dead. This time, for sure. And finally, it was over. The spire had been slain. It ended just like it started, with a very narrow victory, escaping from the claws of death at the last moment. And finally, the land was at peace. Until the spire wakes again. Hey, so thanks for watching till the very end. This video took a lot of effort and I'm really proud of it. I'd love to do more like it, but this is a ton of work, so I'll be releasing some less edited videos while I'm working on a bigger video in this style. It's the first time I tried making a video like this, but I really like how it turned out. If you liked it, be sure to like and subscribe, because it really helps my tiny channel. And if you enjoyed, stay tuned for more videos, just like this one, as well as some less edited videos. Blue Moon, out.